Yeah, so the Showing Up podcast has been created to help you lean into your weird. You know what I'm talking about. Do the thing, even if you suck at it. And there she is. And fully show up for this one wild and precious life. There she is. Our first ever live Instagram live video podcast.
Nice.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on here. It's cool. Hey, everyone.
Awesome. Okay, well, I've got a ton of questions for you, and I'd just like to see how this goes. So usually I would do this long, drawn-out intro about you, and it's too weird in front of you. So
yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah, so help our audience get to know you. Who are you? You grew up in California. You've been on the Free Ride Tour for a couple years, and all of a sudden you're an overnight sensation for the sickest backflip that 60 million plus people have seen. So, give us a little about you.
Yeah, I'm Veronica. Hi. From, like she said, from California, grew up skiing bumps, transitioned to the qualifier competitions, but wasn't really doing great in those I was doing all right, but I wasn't top dog or qualifying for the tour or anything. So just kind of pivoted my sights towards filming and photography, moved out here to Jackson without knowing anybody and got into it. Got lucky enough to get invited to that competition.
Yeah, so okay, let's just start with Kings and Queens, because that's how most people got exposed to you. This was your third season, and you had been on the world tour for like
qualifier tour.
Sorry?
The qualifier tour. I was never on the world tour.
Okay, so the qualifying tour. Yeah, so how is competition? You know, you had started in competition there, and then this is another form of competition. Were you able to, so many questions. How was performing here related to skiing there? I'm seeing all these questions come up in it, so.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of my friends. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Zoe. This competition in particular is so different. Mainly because, it's athlete judged. As you know, there's no, overall judging force. And also because there's no pressure there's no, points list or having to qualify for the next competition. And that's what kind of really got in my head with the moguls and the world qualifier competition. So that's why I really loved the Kings and Queens. You didn't have to focus on anything else.
So it's kind of like if you knew that you could nail one thing, you had it, and so you could really focus.
Right, and it was all just for fun. Even just going for it, you're not risking losing your points or anything. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know it wasn't easy either. You had to really advocate for yourself to keep staying in the competition. So I know this year was your third season, right? So I've got a lot of questions around how many times did you try and what did you learn each time? So yeah, can you talk about getting in the first year and then not landing it the first year, and how advocating for yourself, especially for those athletes out there that you don't necessarily land it the first time.
Right. Yeah. The first time it wasn't as big as it is now. Now everybody watches. It's kind of become this bigger thing in the ski community. But the first time I got the impression that they asked a lot of pro athletes and they all kind of said no.
I was out of town. I know a lot of people were.
And just because it's the first year, I think a lot of people who are more established, they don't have to risk, blocking out that bit of time and risk injury for this. So it ended up just being a lot of local skiers. It was me, there was Kate Zelliff, Tammy Rasinger, Sophia Schwartz, a couple other girls came in. So it was really fun because it was just the friends that we normally ski with. And that year, Mackenzie Lysak, she was the first girl to try the backflip. And she came in from Montana, and she inspired all of us. She was, I think, the second to go. and just went for it, like without talking to any of us really, just decided she was going to go for it. And that's when Sophia was next, and Sophia and I talked, and we were like, all right, like, people are really throwing down, like, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. So
you
then,
both tried that first year?
We all tried that first year. Yeah. None of us landed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And each year...
So can we stop there for a sec? So, like, what was that like when you all of a sudden the hype's on? Had you thought about it, or were you just, like, psyched on watching each other and just, like, what was your thought process that time, you know, compared to this time?
Oh, yeah. That time I hadn't really even thought about it. I mean, it was in the back of my mind, but I was not committed to it at all. And then just got so hyped watching Mackenzie and Sophia try it that I decided to give it a go. And, yeah, obviously, after that one day was, like, I realized, like, oh, my God, like, I could do this. Like, I was kind of close. Like, I could maybe land it.
Yeah, you said in one of the interviews, you felt like you had it if you had a little more power. What did you mean there? Like, strength?
Yeah, definitely strength training. Because it's just a lot of impacts. It's a big drop.
Yeah.
The second year is
power, like, to get it around.
No, I think I got it to my feet. It was just like the impact of that high of a drop. I remember the second year especially, I remember being upside down and, like, knowing I was going to put my feet where they needed to be and just thinking, like, oh, like, this is really big. And then just slamming. But
can all relate, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so then the next years I really had to advocate for myself just because it was getting more and more popular. So there were more big name pro skiers trying to get into this competition. So super thankful for everyone at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort for believing in me and keeping the invites rolling.
Would you share what that looked like though? Like, for people that are like, you got to advocate for yourself.
Yeah, that was a lot of, I kind of need to apologize to Jess McMillan because I think I started emailing her in, like, July and emailed her, like, every couple of weeks, like, hey, still want that invite. So yeah.
Following up.
Yeah, just kept following up. Just kept putting my name out there. Yeah, I was really lucky.
Yeah, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I know other athletes, I won't say names, that sent an email every single day for a year to get an email.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't have that gumption, but I still remember that. I was like, okay, if that's what it takes, it's good to know.
Yeah, totally. And not just with this competition, but, like, I didn't get my first ski sponsorship until I was, like, 22. Like, I'd been applying, so I was, like, used to rejection. I'm totally fine emailing a million times and getting, like, 999,000 no's just to get that one yes. So
amazing. Yeah. For you. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how you grew up. And you don't come from a ski family. So this was all 100% like your passion. Talk about that.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to have my mom, who knows nothing about skiing. So this was totally just her thinking that her child's amazing. She just thought I was great at skiing and told me to join the freestyle ski team. Because at that point I was 12, so it was a little too late to join the racing team. And yeah, I was really lucky. Actually, she's watching right now, Zoe, my best friend growing up was on the race team. So her family used to bring me up to Tahoe all the time. And yeah, it just kind of took over my life from there. It's a good way, to get outside.
Was the whole, like, I want to be a pro skier a thing? Or, I mean, I know you went to college, you're smart. Do you have a math degree and computer science?
I do, yeah. Not using it right now. But yeah, I was competing in moguls. The dream back then was to be an Olympic mogul skier.
Okay,
which,
so you have that dream.
Yeah, for sure. And was not going in my favor. It was definitely getting I was on the Norm Tour for a long time, but was never in the top positions. I was taking off half the winter from school, or half the year from school to go compete and ski, and then coming back to school. And it was, at the time it was really disappointing because you train your whole life and you're not making this goal. But now I look back and I'm so thankful because I get to do this. Here's my
do you feel like you're like getting the payoff now of what didn't necessarily work then, as far as competition and the mental training and physical? It's like, is it kind of all coming together now? I'm saying this because I feel like that's what happened for me. Is like maybe everything didn't quite work out in high school and then in college, but then something kind of finally clicked right after that.
Yeah, definitely the mental training, both how to perform. This is Bodhi, everyone.
Oh.
And also just the back, like specifically the backflip training that we do with moguls is flipping every day. But moving out here, I really got to transition from just like focusing and having that dream of being a top athlete to actually like enjoying skiing and appreciating the outdoors and going skiing with my friends for fun, which makes you ski better, I think, when you're in a good place like that.
Yeah, talk about the transition. So now you have focus on like the filming side, and it seems like you got a really cool crew. Like, how do you guys motivate each other, and how's that work for you? Who do you like to ski with?
All my really good friends out here. I ski with people that I actually originally usually met at competitions, and then ended up being friends here. But yeah, I moved out here not knowing anyone, and kind of instantly made some of the best friends I've ever had out here. Just because we're all so like-minded, you know, we just want to ski every day and push each other.
Yeah.
I've got all my friends out here. Steven is a great photographer that we all kind of like have gone up the ranks where we're all like semi-pro, like trying to make it, and now we're all kind of getting to the point where we can start to call this our job, which is really fun to see.
Do you feel like things have changed a lot? Like, tell me the difference between literally the day before you landed this thing to afterwards. It's such a strange time where one moment live is creating stars instantly, you know? So what was that like?
Yeah, that was totally overwhelming the day it happened. I checked my phone, and just on Instagram I gained like literally 10,000 followers in like 2 hours. Just a million text messages and calls. The thing is, all my friends here, they knew I had tried it for the last 3 years, and they were all with me every step, like helping me practice. So in terms of like my circle of friends, it didn't change much, but getting people from like all over the world and the US and Canada messaging me, that was pretty wild. But yeah, I had been with it literally like 2 days before the competition. I was practicing backflips off this spot in the backcountry with my friends, and they were helping me coach me through this. So they all like knew exactly what was going to happen. They were there.
So, I mean, just to finish up on that, what was the thing? Obviously, visualization is huge. What was the thing that was like, I gotta nail this? You know?
Yeah, I had a lot of keywords and practice going into it. The main thing, the best piece of advice I got from a friend was that it's not going to feel good when you land that big of a drop. It's not going to be easy, and you just have to like grunt it out. Know that your head is going to whiplash, and it's going to take like all the strength to just like scream and grunt and get through it. So that's what I was visualizing mostly, was just like hanging on for dear life and knowing that it was going to be messy probably.
And be okay with it.
And be okay with it, yeah. And just try to hang on.
I love it. Gosh, I have a million questions. A lot of questions came in today on what were you thinking before you dropped in? And then what is your training regimen? How do you train off season, on season, mentally and physically?
Yeah. I'll start with the first question. basically what I told you was what I was thinking. I had been practicing so much the last 3 years, not just like the previous season, that right before you're going, I wasn't thinking about the backflip in particular at all. I was just trying to stay confident, like telling myself I had it, and then you're on autopilot, and then you just have to do it, right? But in terms of training, I go to this gym here, Right Training, year round, and we have sports maintenance for the whole year, and then in the fall is when we really ramp it up. We have this really intense ski fit program, and I do that with a lot of my friends here that I ski with, actually. So we all help each other through it, and that helped me a lot this season.
And so was the thing that got you there and working hard there, like those two past fails of knowing that you were so close and on a power scale? Is that what got you to the gym?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Pretty disappointing when you know you were in like the right position physically with your feet in the right spot and you just didn't have enough strength to pull it off. Yeah. That's like the ultimate motivator to get back in the gym.
Yeah, I think that's so important, especially for female athletes. You just have to be so freaking strong. I mean, guys too, right? But people don't necessarily talk about how much work it takes to be able to handle that kind of an impact.
Yeah. And essentially that was, a couple years of my life of physical training all put into 10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, so what was it? You got, tell me what's happened since you got your first ski contract. What else has been going on?
Yeah, first ski contract, starting to work on plans for next year, getting stopped at the Moose or in chairlift by people recognizing me has been pretty weird, but it's all fun. I'm still kind of trying to figure out where to go from here. But a lot of my friends we're just trying to keep skiing together, and I don't want anything to change too much. Like, I like the people I ski with, and I think they make me a better skier, so that's kind of who I want to keep skiing with.
Awesome. I'm curious if there's any, level of anything that ever pushed you, a little bit extra, maybe even from, not the best place. Did anybody ever say anything, or was there anybody you're just like, I want to show them, or anything like that sort of helped fuel a fire? Because it requires a fire. You got to want it.
Yeah, I mean, plenty. Yeah, I can think of a bunch of little things. I'm sure you can feel this way too as a female athlete. There's so many little jabs you hear there, here and there. I remember when I was a kid, the first time I tried to backflip off a cliff. So I'd done backflips on mogul jumps a bunch, and there were a few of us, and we were all. It was a couple guys. There were maybe 3 guys and me, and we were all going to backflip this cliff. And I remember the coach, seeing I was nervous, and told me, he said, what did he say? He was like, you don't have to do it. You can just ski around. I was like, what? What kind of coach is going to tell me that?
And did he tell you, not the guys?
Exactly, yeah. He's ramping everyone else up and telling me I can ski around. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it now.
Totally. Yeah, what else have you heard?
I mean, it's all little things like that. I think that people don't realize they're saying, or that they're treating you differently. But, mostly I've had really good feedback from this. Once I tried the backflip for the first time, I had a lot of friends, both male and female, ski with me and help me practice and find specific jumps that are similar to Corbett's and all that.
Love it. But was there any sort of vision or anything that really pushed you the extra mile of? Because it's like you said, it's a big risk that you were taking. What made you want it that bad? Where's that hunger come from?
Yeah, for me, I think it was more just for myself, to prove to myself that I could do it. And yeah, after coming so close so many times, and I'm kind of my whole life of doing mogul competitions and not doing very well in them, and then doing the freeride world qualifier competitions and not doing very well with them. like trying to prove to myself that like I was a good skier, really.
Yeah, I totally get that. So what else do we have here? Oh yeah, so you've got this computer science degree, you've got this math degree. If you weren't a skier, what would you be?
Oh, I guess by default, I don't even think I would, honestly. I think I studied computers. I was going to say a programmer, but I don't know. I think I would have been a programmer for 5 years and then quit and tried to move to a ski town or something.
Figuring out like all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Just trying to figure it out. And it was right before everything happened and I landed this. Actually, I was coming up on 5 years from graduating and starting to forget all the programming and math I learned. And since I wasn't, successful before this, I was starting to think about like maybe going to grad school or figuring out what else to do. So it was kind of an all-in, like last ditch chance, a Hail Mary.
No, I totally get that. Yeah. The reason I bring it up is, for parents who might be watching, what can parents do to encourage, girls following their crazy dreams, or not, having backup plans and that sort of thing? What would you say that your parents did really well, or wish that you would have gotten, stuff like that?
Yeah, my parents have always been great. They've always supported me in my dreams and pushed me to, just try my hardest at whatever I decided that I wanted to do. They weren't pushing me in one direction or the other. I would honestly say just like, don't treat your daughters any differently just because they're daughters, if they want to do something crazy that no girl's ever done before, like let them. I think a lot of it is just supporting each other and not putting any limitations on each other.
Yeah, and I think also just to back up what you said, it seems like you felt loved no matter what. Like you didn't have to perform to get love. You didn't have to do anything. You just had that. They love you no matter what, and they're just going to support you no matter what. And that sort of like foundation is an incredible place to jump off of as a female, I'd say.
Totally, yeah. Just, yeah.
Well, I am going to take the rest of the time to go through some questions that people asked today over the socials, and I think there's probably more. But, I'm sorry. If you didn't ask your questions, you're late. Okay, so this one comes from Anna. I think that you sort of answered this, but how do you train? Like, what specific stuff do you do that you think is important? I mean, now you've been training for a lot of your life. Like, what's the good stuff?
Yeah, it's a lot of specifically weight training. So a lot of really heavy squats. The lower body, the quads, and your hamstrings are going to protect you, not just let you land in air that big, but also protect you from injury for when you don't. So besides the heavy strength lifting, a lot of core and just staying active and training your balance in all different kinds of sports, like go mountain biking, go slacklining, go skateboarding, whatever.
Cool. Teal asks, how can I encourage my daughter to be brave?
I'd say, let her do her thing. And what helped me is like being put in a group with other girls. If you're in an all-girls group and you don't have to worry about what boys are going to think about you, generally you're going to be braver and act sillier and do what you want more.
Good point. I would add to that too. Take risks yourself, moms.
Yes.
Show your girls that you are okay with scaring yourself and not being perfect. When they see you doing things, it'll show them that they can try things too.
Totally.
Curavan says, how many times did you try? What made you not give up?
That was my 4th attempt when I landed it. What made me not give up was knowing that I could do it, just believing in yourself. Obviously that sounds corny, but like every time I tried, it got a little bit closer. And so that's motivating, and you just got to trust the process. And
awesome. Jazzy asks, what were you thinking about before dropping in?
Before dropping in, I was thinking about how awesome it would feel to land it and skate away. Yeah, I think we answered this question earlier, but yeah.
Chris asked, did you have hesitation about recent travel to Oregon to ski? Did you go ski touring or something?
No. The last trip I had was up in Revelstoke, and that was right before all the travel started to shut down, and I was definitely happy to get home. I was a little worried about that.
You want to talk about like how things have shifted now? Like, what are we sort of talked about this earlier, but what are you filling your time with now?
Yeah. My dad keeps saying how lucky I am that Kings of Queens happened in February and not March. My season got cut short, which is, a little sad for all of us, but especially I was excited for all the different opportunities that I had coming up. These days, not skiing much, trying to fill my days with other activities, reading a lot. Still saying, what am I reading? I just finished this book called Trick Mirror, which is a collection of essays about being a woman in this time, and kind of how social media affects us, and that was really interesting. But right now I'm reading Ali Wong's book, The Comedian, which is hilarious. I definitely recommend that.
Oh, nice. Share some of your favorite shows or podcasts.
I'm going to out myself as a total nerd here, but one of my favorite podcasts is Buffering the Vampire Slayer. I'm a huge Buffy fan. That's what I grew up on. And Harry Potter, yes. Everyone in my generation is a huge Harry Potter fan, so.
So is there like the podcast on they're explaining what's going on in episodes or something?
Oh, yeah. So it's Buffering the Vampire Slayer is my favorite. They do every episode, and then they make a little 1-minute song at the end of each episode. Or for Harry Potter, there's one called Binge-Worthy, where they go through the chapters of each book.
Solid. Good to know.
Kills a lot of time if you're looking to kill time.
Yeah, fascinating. All right, got like 3 more questions. So Becca asks, how do you overcome fear?
Starting small, and if a cliff drop is scary for you, doing a cliff drop that's a little bit smaller and seeing how that feels until you land it. Keep working up, and also just like finding a good ski group of your friends that like to push each other. That's mainly how the encouragement from my friends is like what gets me going.
I love it. So true. I Heart Words says, do you meditate?
I don't. I've always wanted to, though. There's so many things in this quarantine that I've wanted to do. I wanted to start meditating, learn a new language, start cooking more, learn the guitar, paint, everything, and haven't. Yeah, exactly.
Write a book.
Right. Haven't been as productive as I thought it'd be.
It's cool. There's time. And our last question is, what superpower do you wish you had?
Ooh, I would love to. Love to be able to talk to animals, communicate with them, or speak every language on the planet. That would be nice too.
Love it. Well, I'm really excited. This was the first ever video podcast. Thank you so much for showing up for it. I guess we'll finish with that one. Like, what does showing up mean to you?
Showing up means keep trying even after you fall on your face, and keep going for it until you don't.
Awesome. Well, I'm so psyched. I'm going to try and do like as many of these as I can in the next month, because we have no idea what's going on, and if I can support other female skier girls in the time when we can't ski, maybe we could chat.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions for Kate Zelliff is going to come on Sunday, and Wednesday Army Armstrong. Oh, by the way, she had a question. The Tiger Queen herself asked about your stance on mullets and if you would consider one.
Absolutely. Only if she does one. Oh no, she's totally gonna do one now. We have to do it.
She is. Well, thanks for your time, and for anybody listening, this is the first ever. I tried to record it, so you can listen to this and more on iTunes. It's called The Showing Up Podcast with Lynsey Dyer. You are a true legend, and I can't wait to see where it goes to. Leave us with like a vision of what a dream career as an athlete would look like.
Yeah, I just want to honestly keep pushing myself and keep skiing and seeing what else I can do, and seeing what, skiing with other girls like Kate and Alex, because they're absolute legends too. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys say. It's only an amazing role model, especially for the girls that you coach and the boys.
Oh, thanks.
All the coaches, teachers out there. Thanks, everybody. Send your questions and for the next interviews, and see you next time.
Bye. Thanks, Lynsey.
Have a good night.